All right, welcome everybody to today's Cirrus training. Thanks for jumping on. So glad you could be here. So for those that don't know, we still have our illustrious leader, Mr. Steve Campbell, is out sick. So he was not able to join us. He asked that I go ahead and do this training for all of us today. So over the last few weeks, I've been getting a lot of questions about nodes and what it means to buy a node and how they work, and just this concept of if I have a mini node versus a full node, and if I buy mini nodes each month, how do they stack up or whatever. So today we're going to go ahead and dive into a little bit more detail on that and understand really what it means to buy a node, to participate in the node, and how that benefits all of us, right? So let's go ahead and start the presentation. I call this the node analogy, okay? So of course, we got to start out with our disclaimer. When we talk about anything to do with the blockchain and rewards and tokens and anything like that, we are not promising any kind of ROI. This is not a financial product. This is not something that guarantees you'll make any money or anything like that, okay? So, and in fact, when I describe today's analogy, I think you'll understand why, and we can really, kind of put it all together of what it is we're getting. Because even when, let's say you buy a business and, you invest in a business, it doesn't mean that you're going to make money, right? And even having your own business means you got to do the work, you got to, put in the hours, you got to do all the things and do it right. And you got to bring customers, all those things. And if you don't, then it's not going to be a profitable business, right? So similar kind of thing here. We're not talking about guaranteed, return on your money or investment or anything. We're just talking about a way to participate in something new and exciting that is the future of tokenization and blockchain, and how it could potentially be something beneficial for you and your family. Okay, so we've talked about this. This slide is not new. Our nodes are a personal generator in the blockchain network, right? We talked about that last week, what it is and why having a node is amazing, and how it helps to build the community and the infrastructure and everything. It fuels the blockchain ecosystem, right? All those things, okay? So that's good. But we also like to call it being a digital landlord, right? And so thinking about this term right here, digital landlord, it got me thinking about, okay, what does that mean? If you're a landlord, you own a building, right? You own an apartment building as a landlord, and you have tenants in your building, right? And so we're going to take that to the next level and really understand what being a digital landlord means, okay? So of course, we know what our nodes are. This is how you purchase a node. You can either participate with a full node, you can do a half node, you can do a quarter node, you can do a mini node, right? So there's all these different options for digital landlordship, or owning a node, owning some digital real estate, you could say, all right? But there's also what we call micronodes, okay? So there's two sides to this that we have the benefit of having, because the first side with the nodes and everything, that's what most blockchains do, right? In most blockchain projects or opportunities, you purchase a node, or you purchase the coins, the tokens that are involved with that blockchain project. Okay, that's really all there is to it. The main thing that makes Nodi and Cirrus so different is that we have these micronodes. Okay, the micronodes being our software as a services, right? Products that we can all use. We all know them, we love them, and they bring it down to the everyday use level. Because, let's be honest, with other blockchain projects, they're, maybe a great way to participate, get some infrastructure, buy a node and all that. But then outside of that, there's nothing else you can really do other than bring in more node owners and stuff, right? But that's it. You're just kind of limited, and you just have to wait for the powers that be in those blockchain projects to go and do whatever they got to do to bring value to that blockchain, right? So it really truly is a long-term thing, something that you can be involved in. It's cool, but it's just over time, right? Whereas with this idea, this concept of micronodes, we can now bring it down to the masses, right? To the individual level, where all of us now are contributing to the entire project, and we all can benefit not just from the long-term piece of being a digital landlord, but also through the compensation plan, we can earn weekly commissions, right? Weekly commissions on the sale of goods and products and services to people that just want a better product, right? So that's why this is so compelling for so many people, is because they can see the short term of, I can participate as a associate or affiliate and make some money with this while I wait for the other stuff to happen down the road, right? Which is great. Okay, so let's kind of really understand this analogy of digital landlord. It's an apartment building kind of concept, right? So the very highest level of this, let's just imagine a single apartment building represents a centralized system, right? Like a traditional bank or something. The owner controls all the records, the grants, or denies access and can modify information, that kind of stuff. But in contrast, a blockchain network is like an entire city of independently owned apartment buildings, okay? So that's really cool, right? You have the whole city, and now they're all tied together, so there's this separation, right? It's not just one, it's the community that actually now has vote and voice and participation and everything. So that's great. That's kind of the high level, right? Now let's understand, kind of bringing it down to the node ownership and what it means for you and me. So as digital landlords, let's just think of a full node like a 10-unit apartment building, okay? So if you were to go buy a full node, that is similar, not exactly, right? I just want to be very compliant here. We're not saying it's the exact same thing, but just kind of to have it in your mind, this analogy of, okay, you own now an apartment building, it's like 10 units, and you now get rent money from all 10 units, or 100% of the total rent, okay? Now, is that a guarantee? No, because you don't know. You don't know if you're going to actually have tenants. You're going to have some that don't pay their rent, right? You might have vacancies or so to be super, compliant with all of this, we want to make sure we understand it's no guarantee of having an income, right? If you buy an apartment building, but still, it's okay. I own the entire apartment building. I own all 10 units, and so I get to get 100% of whatever rent money is coming in from having tenants in that building. Okay. So think of it that way. But then let's say, okay, just like buildings can have several units, the nodes can also be divided, right? So if you think about, if I purchased a half node, that's like getting maybe 5 of the 10 units in that apartment building. Okay. So now you're earning just on 5 units, or 50%, right? 50% of the total payout from owning just the 5 unit, because it's the whole apartment building, but you just got a half one, right? So half a node is paying out 50% of the rent, okay? And then, of course, a quarter node, very similarly, is like owning 2.5 units, right? Or 25%, okay? And then a mini node is like owning one single unit and getting rent from just one tenant, okay? Or 10%, right? So here's the kicker. Here's the point where a lot of people are getting confused, is this idea of, when I buy a mini node, what does that mean? Okay. Well, think of it like this. After 10 mini node purchases, you basically own the equivalent of a full node, right? So when you purchase your mini node, I get this question a lot. So I'm paying, on a subscription, let's say $100 a month for the mini node. Okay. A lot of people kind of had it in their mind that they were the ones paying the rent, right? They were the ones having to pay $100 a month to rent out this mini node, right? So I'm paying $100 a month every single month to get this mini node. It doesn't make a lot of sense, right? You're like, that seems kind of expensive just to keep paying $100 a month for this one unit, right? But no, make sure you've got it very clear in your mind. And when you're telling other people about this, that if you get on a subscription, okay, for the $100 a month mini node, what you're doing is you're buying a whole nother node, okay, a whole nother mini node. You're buying a whole nother apartment, right? So after 10 months, you own 10 mini nodes. You weren't just paying rent on one node over and over and over again. No, you were actually buying a brand new one unit every single month, every single month. So now, after 10 months, yeah, it's the equivalent of owning an entire 10-unit apartment building. Okay. So hopefully that is a lot more clear now for you. Of course, then after that, you think, oh, well, could I convert my 10 mini nodes into a full node? And that's something I actually got clarification from Dylan, our tech support guy. And he told me, no, that's not something you can do. You can't just go convert your 10 mini nodes into a full node, at least not right now. He said, that's an interesting thought, though. And so maybe in the future, that's something that they could look into and see if that's a rule that they could change or a technical thing that they got to program or whatever. But for right now, no, you can't do that. You can't just convert your 10 into a single, full node. It doesn't work that way, but it's the equivalent of it, right? So it's like a way to just every month buy one more unit in this entire apartment building, and then eventually multiple apartment buildings, right? You can just keep doing that every single month, buy another one and have your share, have more ownership, have more rent money, more rewards for having done that. Okay, so pretty cool to think about, right? We're just stacking. We're stacking these nodes. We're stacking, whether it's a full node, it's like buying a full-on apartment building, mini nodes, half nodes, whatever it is. You're buying all of these individual units or combination of units, and now you're getting the rent money on all of them in the form of rewards. Okay, so not identical in every way, but just a great way to think about it, understand what it is you're purchasing as you buy mini nodes and full nodes and half nodes and so on. Okay, now here's the other concept that comes up a lot, is this idea of, okay, well, we're really early on, and these rewards that we're getting, right? Well, what are they worth, right? And what can I do with them or whatever? So it's good to think about what we're doing right now as owning while it's still under construction, right? So our rewards right now, right, these tokens that are being generated on the blockchain, they don't have a value yet. Why? Technically, we don't really have any renters yet, okay? Or we have a few, right? But it's not, mostly right now what's happened is people have bought nodes, okay? They bought whether full nodes or half nodes or even mini nodes and stuff, but we don't really have, we do have some customers, not a ton yet, but we're getting there, right? We're starting to get some people using the different products and services and stuff. And as more products and services come, that will increase, right? But really, we don't have any renters. We don't have any tenants. So there's not a way to really say, okay, this is now worth whatever. Okay. So it is like having purchased an apartment complex still under construction, but it will have value once it's finished and once we have the renters moving in. Okay. So people ask, oh, well, why should I buy a node? Well, because, it's like purchasing an apartment, right? And eventually we'll have renters that move in, and eventually they'll pay rent, and you'll be able to, to take advantage of that. But in the meantime, it really is like this. Okay. I'm pre-purchasing, right? I know this is still being built. They're still putting in the plumbing. Maybe they're still putting in the electrical, right? Maybe they still got to paint the walls or something, to get it all fully up and running. But that it's happening, it's happening. Right. And we're seeing it. We're seeing the construction. We're seeing that it's going live. We're seeing that things are happening, that the tokens are going live on the blockchain, everything, that we're able to convert those into tokens, all that kind of stuff. Right. So it's happening, and people are actually getting products and services. So it's a process. It's being built, but it's still, however many months away before we actually have our token that becomes a utility token. And what does the utility token mean? It means that we can actually now use the token either internally for different products and services that we want to use our token to pay for them, or externally as we can now sell those on an exchange where they have monetary value outside of the ecosystem, right? That all will come as this continues to grow and develop. We get renters, and and the infrastructure is completely finished. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about X1 nodes and what those mean. So you could think of X1 nodes like a mixed use apartment. Okay, you've probably seen this. This is kind of a new trend, right? That's happening in lots of cities throughout the world, where now you have apartments up on top on the upper floors, but on the bottom level is restaurants or businesses or whatever, right? They're places where people can actually go and do commerce. Okay, it could be a store, it could be a Starbucks, whatever. And so what happens now, let's say you own a node, right? You own that node, going back to that analogy, and you've got some of the node is, just apartments that people are going to live in and pay rent on. But the other part of that whole infrastructure is an actual business. It's an actual storefront, okay? The actual place where transactions are happening, right? Where people are exchanging goods and services for money, okay? And that now adds to the value. So now you actually get a share of the commerce that is happening in those storefronts on the bottom level. Okay, so great way to think about this, right? I've got my nodes, I got my full nodes and half nodes and mini nodes and stuff. Those are my apartments, but I'm also offering X1 nodes, services, products that allow for people to come in and get a pizza, get a coffee, get whatever it is they want to get, right? Insurance or whatever is being sold on the bottom floor. Okay, it could be all kinds of things, right? That actually brings other kinds of value and exchange happening, commerce, right, at a different level. Okay, so it is the lifeblood, right? Because not only do we as digital landlords get to make the revenue, right, from all of that, but customers themselves get rewarded. Okay, that's what's so cool about this mixed use case scenario, where a customer who just comes in and purchases a meeting room or purchases a Cirrus safe, or later on when we have more things, whether it's a travel thing or a card thing or a cell phone thing, whatever it is, when customers start to pay for that service, they're actually node owners at that point, right? They own X1 nodes. So what does that mean? They actually now get rewarded for their loyalty, right? For their preference, okay? So no different than other kinds of loyalty type programs out there where you can go to Subway and for so many sandwiches, use the Subway app and it's giving you rewards, and you can then say, oh, I've got enough rewards now to get a free sandwich or a free drink or a free cookie or something, right? Similar kind of thing. Lots of restaurants, lots of stores. I know Kohl's has Kohl Cash, right? There's so many different ways for restaurants and businesses and stores and everything to create loyalty to their customers to come back, right? And say, hey, I would rather go shop there. I'd rather go eat there because I've got some rewards. I've got loyalty there. And it feels good to be able to say, oh yeah, okay, for my loyalty, I'm going to be sticky, right? I'm going to go and use those rewards to get some free goods or whatever benefits. Okay. So that's the cool thing about this is our own customers now can feel like they have ownership. Our customers can feel like, wow, I'm paying for my meeting, which gives me immediate benefit. I can get 300 people in my room and I can do all the different things that it offers way better than the competition. But at the same time, I'm getting these loyalty rewards, right, on a daily basis because I'm now also an owner. I'm an owner in this ecosystem. I'm an owner in this community where maybe I don't want to own an apartment, right? Maybe I don't need a whole unit or a whole node, but I'm happy to be loyal to one of these products and services, and I'm definitely going to stick around because I'm getting daily rewards for it, right? And honestly, they, as a X1 node owner, they have a boat. They have a say. It's a little one, right? But they do. They have a vote and definitely an incentive for participation. And at some point they might say, okay, this is so cool, right? I'm using this meeting product. What else is there? Oh, there's a travel thing too. Okay, I want to go use that. Oh, wow, this travel thing is super cool. What else is there? Oh, there's this other card thing too. Wow. And so now they're going to frequent our ecosystem, our community more, right? Because they're seeing that all of the different components are part of the reward system, right? And it's so almost to the point where you could say, oh, like in this picture, right? Oh, I went and ate at Goldberg, right? And I got rewarded for it. But what's so cool is that the rewards I got from Goldberg, I can go use them at the El Felix, right? At the restaurant across the street. The reward loyalty points, whatever you want to call them, are actually good in the entire community. So I can use, I got meeting and I'm getting rewards for that every day. But how cool would that be that now I can use those same rewards from meeting? I could go use those to pay for my cell phone service because it's part of the same ecosystem, right? Or I could use those same rewards to go get a hotel because I need to go to New York for a weekend, right? And I can save $300 on a hotel, and I can use those rewards to pay for that. Or I could use those same rewards to, to pay for my streaming service or whatever, right? Because it's now all integrated, it's all tied together, and you can pick and choose do you do it all or where to do it because it's all in the same community. Super, super cool. So, having said that, my friends, we have just a few more days to take advantage of this stack and multiply promotion that's going on, right? It's a great time if you're thinking about becoming a landlord, digital landlord, okay? If you're thinking about getting a node, well, from now until the 31st, you can buy one full node and get a free mini node for having done so. Or if you buy 2 or more full nodes, you're going to be able to get a quarter node for free. So amazing, amazing. And then, of course, for customers that purchase nodes, right? So if you tell somebody, hey, you just want to, maybe they don't want to do the business per se, but they just want to be a customer that purchases a node to be part of this amazing community. Well, they're going to do a drawing where somebody is going to win a full node, right? For those that bring customers. Okay, so if you're an associate or affiliate and you bring a customer who buys a node, any kind of node, okay, it could be a mini node, it could be a full node, whatever kind of node. If you do that, then you are entered into that drawing to win a full node. Okay, so my friends, this is super exciting. I am stoked for all the success that we're having. I see every single day how excited all of you are. I see every single day how people are starting to realize the value we have with these products and services. And then, of course, we get to hear every single week, right, from the owners, what's coming, how it's going to be so much better than the competition, how we're going to have that triple threat, right, of a better product with better features and everything, better pricing and rewards, right? Now they are a digital landlord just for having participated in something that they would have bought anyway, right? But they're getting a better deal on it. And now they get to be part of this community and be rewarded for it. So that is the presentation for today. Hopefully it was helpful, a little bit shorter than normal, but hopefully that analogy really helps to cement in your mind what it is we're doing, why there's real value here, and how this is really going to be something that's going to change the space of blockchain and what we're doing with relationship marketing and everything else, because we literally can say, the competition is not offering rewards. The competition's not tokenized. The competition's not on a blockchain. Competition doesn't offer that dual pathway of being able to earn not just from the commissions and bonuses and stuff from a comp plan, but also through tokenization and reward plan and loyalty and all of that. So we truly have something special, my friends. This is going to be super exciting. We're lucky enough to be in at the beginning. We're in that construction phase right now, right? But there's value in that because, as we know, when it cuts in half, when the halvening happens in next April, and half of all the rewards get paid out from now until then, right? Definitely to our advantage to be participating even before all the things are fully ready. So congratulations, because you got to be in the beginning when all of this was just getting started. So with that, we'll go ahead and let you get back to your Saturdays. Thanks so much for joining me. And we will see you all during the week, and then, of course, next Saturday. Okay? Take care, everybody.